Good morning, student. Today we learn about the next topic, external structure of heart. Human heart is four-chambered. Two superior chambers are called as atria, or it is also called as auricles. Here in the figure, the two chambers which is called as atria. This is the right atrium and this is the left atrium or auricle. This is left auricle and this is right auricle or atrium. Then two inferior chambers are called as ventricles. Here two inferior chambers, it is called as ventricles. The right ventricle and the left ventricle. Externally, the atria are separated from ventricles by a transverse groove called coronary sulcus or atrioventricular groove. Externally, the atria are separated from ventricles. See here in the figure, externally the atria are separated from ventricles. This is the atria and this is the ventricles. These are separated from each other by a transverse grooves. See these yellow lines here. This is the transverse grooves. This transverse groove is called as coronary sulcus or it is also called as atrioventricular groove. This is the coronary sulcus which can separate the atria and ventricles. Two ventricles are externally separated from each other by two grooves, the anterior and posterior interventricular sulci, in which coronary arteries and coronary veins run through. The two ventricles, these right ventricles and left ventricles, these two ventricles are externally separated from each other by two grooves. This is the yellow line which can separate the two ventricles, that is right ventricles and left ventricles in the anterior view. This is called as anterior and posterior interventricular sulci, through which coronary arteries and coronary veins are run through this sulci. Here is the anterior interventricular sulcus. Single A म्हणून त्याला आपण म्हणणार sulcus. Here this is the anterior interventricular sulcus. This is the anterior view or anterior surface of the heart. Then here in this figure, the posterior sulcus, that is the posterior view of the heart. This is the posterior sulcus which can separate the two ventricles, that is left ventricles and right ventricles. This is the posterior interventricular sulcus which can separate the two chambers, that is ventricles, right and left ventricles. Pulmonary trunk arising from right ventricle and aorta from left ventricle are present on anterior surface of heart. The pulmonary trunk which can be arises. This is the pulmonary trunk. See in the figure, this is the pulmonary trunk arising from right ventricle. This is the right ventricle. And here in this right ventricle, the pulmonary trunk can be arise from the right ventricle and aorta from left ventricle. This is the left ventricle and here the aorta which can arise from the left ventricle are present on the anterior surface of heart. This is the anterior surface of the heart. This is aorta and this is the pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk bifurcates into right and left pulmonary arteries. Here the pulmonary trunk, this is the pulmonary trunk, it can bifurcates into right and left pulmonary arteries. See, in the posterior view, this is the left pulmonary arteries and this is the right pulmonary arteries. This is right pulmonary arteries and this is the left pulmonary arteries. Then the aorta, which is also called as systemic aorta. It is divisible into three regions as ascending aorta, systemic arc, aortic arc and descending aorta. The aorta, this is the aorta which is divisible into three regions. The ligamentum arteriosum joins pulmonary trunk and aortic arch. The ligamentum arteriosum. See here in the figure, this is the aorta and this ligamentum arteriosum joins. This is the, see here in the white portion, it is called as ligamentum arteriosum. It joins pulmonary trunk and aortic arch. This blue color is the pulmonary trunk and this is red color is the aortic arch. Both these are joined together by ligamentum arteriosum. See here the ligamentum arteriosum. The aortic arch gives out three arteries. The aortic arch, it is gives out three arteries. The first artery, it is called as brachiocephalic. The first arteries, it is called as brachiocephalic. Here in the posterior or dorsal view, the brachiocephalic arteries. The first is it's called as brachiocephalic arteries. Innominate artery. It is also called as innominate artery. Left artery is called as common carotid. This is the left common carotid artery. This is the left common carotid artery. And left subclavian artery. This is the left subclavian artery. That means the aortic arch gives out three arteries. The brachiocephalic artery, the left common carotid artery and the left subclavian artery. The right atrium receives superior and inferior vena cava along its dorsal surface. Here is the dorsal surface. The right atrium receives superior and inferior vena cava. This is the superior vena cava and this is the inferior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. This is the right atrium which can receive superior and inferior vena cava. Pulmonary veins open into left atrium along the dorsal surface of heart. Pulmonary veins opens into the left atrium along the dorsal surface of the heart. This is the pulmonary vein which can opens into the left atrium and this is the dorsal view or dorsal surface of the heart. The external structure of heart we can well explain by this video.
Hello anatomy students. In this podcast I'm going to review the external anatomy of the heart using various laboratory models. We'll focus on the main external structures of the heart and the larger blood vessels, often called collectively the great vessels, that exit and enter the heart. The heart is located in the mediastinum, the central region of the thoracic cavity found between the lungs. It extends from the anterior sternum back to the posterior vertebrae, and from the superior first rib down to the inferior diaphragm. Mediastinum contains the heart and other organs such as the esophagus and the trachea or windpipe, which we can see here, the thymus gland, as well as large blood vessels that enter and exit the heart, such as the aorta and the superior vena cava. The heart's sits on the diaphragm near the midline of the thoracic cavity. In fact, about 2/3 of the heart is positioned to the left of the midline. And remember, when we describe the right and left sides of the heart, we're doing so from the perspective of the patients, not from the viewer. The apex is the anterior inferior tip of the heart that is oriented towards the left side. It's the cone-like pointed tip of the left ventricle that sits on the diaphragm. The ventricles, the left ventricle and the right ventricle, are the lower chambers of the heart. The base of the heart is the side opposite the apex. It is the superior and more posterior region of the heart that's formed by the two atria. The right atrium and the left atrium, are the upper chambers of the heart. The anterior surface of the heart is the frontal region of the heart, directly under the sternum and the ribs. The inferior surface of the heart is located between the apex and the right surface of the heart. It sits mostly on top of the diaphragm. The right surface of the heart faces the right lung and runs from the inferior surface up to the base. The left surface of the heart faces the left lung, and it runs down from the base to the apex. The atria of the heart include the right atrium and the left atrium. These are the superior chambers of the heart that receive incoming blood from the veins. The ventricles of the heart include the right ventricle and the left ventricle. The ventricles are the inferior chambers of the heart that are pumping blood out of the heart into the arteries. The right and left auricles, these are located on the anterior surface of the right and left atrium, respectively. They're wrinkled, pouch-like structures that resemble an ear. That's what the name auricle means, ear-like. And their function is to increase the volume of each atrium so it can hold a slightly larger amount of blood. The sulci, shown here in yellow on the heart model, are shallow sunken grooves or gullies that are found on the heart surface that contain coronary blood vessels, both coronary arteries and veins, as well as adipose fat. They're often obscured because they're filled with fat, and they act as superficial outer dividing marks between the chambers of the heart. The coronary sulcus is the groove traveling around the heart that forms an external boundary between the two upper atria and the two lower ventricles. The anterior interventricular sulcus is the groove on the anterior surface of the heart that acts as a boundary between the right and left ventricles. Let's flip the heart over to its posterior surface, where we'll find the posterior interventricular sulcus. This is a continuation of the anterior interventricular sulcus, and it indicates the external boundary between the right and left ventricles here on the posterior surface of the heart. The superior vena cava, commonly abbreviated SVC, is a large diameter vein around 2 centimeters or 1 inch in diameter that drains deoxygenated or oxygen-poor blood from the head, neck, arms, and thorax down into the right atrium. Remember that veins always return or drain blood back to the heart. We can see a small section of the inferior vena cava blood out of the right ventricle. Remember that arteries always carry blood away from the heart. The right pulmonary artery branches off the pulmonary trunk here on the right side, and we can see it a little better from this angle. It's going to be carrying deoxygenated blood to the right lung. The left pulmonary artery is the other branch off the pulmonary trunk, and it's going to be delivering deoxygenated blood to the left lung. In the lungs, gas exchange is taking place, so now the blood returning back to the heart is oxygenated, oxygen-rich. These are the right pulmonary veins, and these two veins are transporting oxygenated blood into the left atrium of the heart. These are the left pulmonary veins, and these two veins are transporting oxygenated blood from the left lung into the left atrium. Remember that both right and left pulmonary veins are draining that oxygenated blood to the same destination, into the left atrium. This is the aorta. This is the largest artery in the body. It has a diameter of between 2 and 3 centimeters, which is approximately 1 inch. It carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle out of the heart. There are 4 divisions of the aorta: the ascending aorta, the arch of the aorta, the thoracic aorta, and the abdominal aorta. The ascending aorta is the division of the aorta that is leaving the left ventricle and carrying oxygenated blood out of the heart. The right and left coronary arteries branch off of the ascending aorta and carry oxygenated blood to the heart wall. You want to remember the phrase that the heart feeds itself first, where this oxygen-rich blood is heading to the myocardium muscle of the heart wall, as well as the various epithelia and connective tissues that make it up. The arch of the aorta, also called the aortic arch, is the large left-oriented curve of the aorta that distributes oxygenated blood to several large systemic arteries. These arteries include the brachiocephalic trunk, the left common carotid artery, and the left subclavian artery. The next heart structure is the ligamentum arteriosum, and this is the remains of a once functional blood vessel in the fetus called the ductus arteriosus. It functioned in directing blood from the pulmonary trunk into the aorta, bypassing the pulmonary arteries. This prevented the non-functional fetal lungs from receiving too much blood. After birth, the ductus arteriosus closes up and becomes filled with connective tissue, forming the ligamentum arteriosum, which attaches the aorta to the pulmonary trunk. The descending aorta runs down the posterior surface of the heart. The thoracic aorta is the region that we see here in the model before it's cut off. This is the area of the descending aorta that travels down through the thorax. What we don't see here in the model is the abdominal aorta, which is a continuation of the descending aorta. It's the region that passes through the diaphragm, through an opening called the aortic hiatus, and then into the abdomen. This is the brachiocephalic trunk. This is an artery that is the first branch off of the arch of the aorta, and it directs blood into 2 branches not shown here in the heart model. Those 2 branches are the right common carotid artery, which supplies the right side of the neck and the head, the cephalic part of the name, and the right subclavian artery, which supplies lies the right shoulder, under the clavicle leading to the right arm. This is the brachio part of the name. The left common carotid artery supplies blood to the left side of the head and neck.